got that heat, let's go. Downtown, I got that heat, let's go.
Before I get started with tonight's live stream, please do me a solid. Like and share the stream. By rating the stream and then by sharing it to others, it really does help the channel grow. Helps it reach more people. We can grow the community, get the channel into the algorithm. Get happy, let it marinate in there. YouTube will pass it around and put it in people's feeds. That's how you can help us out. Greatly appreciate it. For those that are in the live chat, please give me a 1 indicator. Type in a 1. Let me know that you guys can hear me okay, and then I want to go ahead and proceed with the breakdown of this game. As I don't think we're going to learn anything new in the next 2 minutes. But I do want to discuss the game and obviously look forward to the next matchup, as the Denver Nuggets will move on. So let's turn this down a little bit. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just cut the music. All right, man, oh man. Got us in a good old-fashioned ass whooping, I think is what they call it. Yeah, you called it, Micah. You called it. I think pre-game on the live stream earlier. I think you called it. I think you said flip the flippers. Yeah, they got flipped. Pretty much a blowout. Basically in the second quarter. I want to say it was like maybe 9.5 minutes, 9 minutes 9 minutes left in the second quarter, and the lead was stretched into double digits. I think maybe 13 or 15 points. And then the Clippers just couldn't score. And the Nuggets were getting theirs. And they just built on the lead. So by halftime, it was double digits or whatever. But the game wasn't over. Like if the Clippers had responded in the third quarter, just cut into the lead a little bit, right? So they were down, like 10 or something, or 11 at halftime, or 9. I forget what it was. I mean, it was definitely a lead. It was sizable, but not insurmountable, you know? And it got worse in the third. I mean, every time I looked up, the Clippers were coming up no points, possessions with no points, time and time again, repeated. And the Nuggets were getting theirs. Some of the things that I thought would happen kind of did. You know what I mean? It did play out kind of the way I thought it could. The one thing I knew the Clippers could not afford was a James Harden choke job. That was the one thing that couldn't happen, and it absolutely happened. Yes, he choked. James Harden was awful. Bad by most metrics. I mean, he had a couple of turnovers, but it was just the fact that he couldn't produce points. Flip them flippers. I don't know, man. Kawhi was there for you, you know. Kawhi produced 6 of 13 shooting. He was 2 of 4 from 3. He was 8 of 9 from the free throw line. I thought Kawhi was excellent. He was good defensively. He was good offensively. He had a couple of blocks. Derrick Jones Jr. got the start, and a lot of people were happy to see that because they thought that was a matchup that was good for the Clippers, you know, to some length that would give Jamal Murray some problems. But Jamal Murray had a decent game. He had 16. 7 of 15 shooting. He was 0 of 3 from 3. 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He had a block, 4 turnovers. Kind of bad there. Joker had 5 turnovers too. So they weren't the Nuggets weren't perfect, guys. The Nuggets were not perfect at all. The Clippers were just straight up bad. I don't want to take anything away from the Nuggets for winning. But the Clippers were awful. Defensively, they weren't good. Offensively, they were a train wreck. They were so bad, so bad, so bad. What I'm going to do is, because this is going to be a straight up call-in show for you guys to kind of chime in and discuss the game with me, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the live chat for you guys to tap in and discuss it. Went with the StreamYard this time, Micah, just for the sake of ease. But you know me, man. I like to use the OBS, but could tap in with the StreamYard as the Clippers get smoked by the Nuggets. Kind of an embarrassing loss. I don't think Ty Lue pulled the wrong levers. I don't think that was it. I think it was just execution. You know, Kawhi was good, but that's really all we can gather from this game. James Harden had 7 points. His plus minus was like minus 29. Norman Powell wasn't very good. He's been excellent this year. Man, he picked a bad time to shoot poorly. His team really needed something because they weren't getting it from Harden. So Norman Powell, 9 points, 4 of 11 shooting, 0 of 3 from 3. A few turnovers. Zubac was decent, just not as involved as he typically is. Did have 14 rebounds. Did have a couple on the offensive glass, 2 assists, a steal. Nick Batum, a guy who a lot of people were saying, you know, was going to be a difference maker and should have got a lot of extra minutes. I mean, he played 28 minutes. He got you 3 points. Moments during the series, he was really good, and the reason why they probably won a couple of games, right? He played excellent. Wasn't able to kind of translate that into this game. Bogdanovich got some extra run in garbage time. Chris Dunn played some minutes. He wasn't able to really do anything for you. They cleared the benches early. This game, I think at one point the lead was like 30 something points, largest lead, I think. Yeah, man. The Clippers didn't shoot well from 3. I think they shot 29% from 3. The Nuggets were able to shoot 38% from 3. Free throws, just about the same. Not much different there. Denver won on the glass. They had 6 more offensive rebounds than the Clippers. That makes a difference. Points off of turnovers, about the same. Fast break points, the edge to the Nuggets. Points in the paint, advantage Nuggets. Yeah, largest lead for the Nuggets, 35. They really stretched the lead. Let's see, anything in the turnovers? Yeah, it's not just about the same. Yeah, this was just the worst time for the Clippers to have a bad offensive night outside of Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi is not enough to beat the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are good enough to need more than one person to beat them. You know what I mean? And then for the Nuggets, they were able to do pretty good with what their players brought to the table. What kind of stood out to me was how good Aaron Gordon was. Like, I know he's a good player, but it seems like in some big games he comes up big. 22 points on 9 of 16 shooting, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. He had a block, he had a steal, he had 5 dimes, 4 rebounds. Just a well-rounded effort. Michael Porter Jr., when he plays well, the Nuggets usually win. 15 points, 3 of 8 from 3, 6-11 overall, 6 rebounds. Joker was offensively kind of facilitating more than looking to get points. I think a testament to Zubac, who just a very good defender, makes life difficult on Joker. Joker obviously was the focal point of their offense, and the Clippers basically said, make someone else beat us. And someone else did. Jamal Murray had 16. He played decent. He actually played pretty good defensively, gave it a good effort. Christian Brown, 21 points. See, this is what I'm saying. The supplemental pieces, the role guys, were just better for the Nuggets. Russell Westbrook, 16 points off the bench, 27 minutes of action. So when you got Russell Westbrook giving you a spark off the bench, Peyton Watson played decent too. I saw him get some minutes, scored 9 points. So you got Peyton Watson giving you something. Russell Westbrook was excellent. He had 5 assists and 5 steals. He was playing the passing lanes, getting fast break opportunities going the other way. 21 from Christian Brown, 15 from MPJ, and 22 from Gordon. You didn't need a 40-point triple-double from Joker. Joker is adjustable. Joker is adaptable. He takes what the defense gives him. He makes smart decisions with the ball. This was not going to be an issue for Joker as long as the other guys were performing. Every time I looked up, Joker was finding Gordon flashing to the rim. Christian Brown was attacking the rim. Russ was getting steals and turning them into points the other way. Jamal Murray, although he had some turnovers, he didn't really hurt his team or anything. He didn't have a huge game, but the other guys were able to do so much. You just didn't get that out of the Clippers. You didn't have anything. The Clippers didn't have a Michael Porter Jr. tonight, which, it's been Nick Batum recently. They didn't have a Christian Brown, right? That would have been your James Harden, just by looking at the scoring output. Like the Clippers choked. And it's not because of preparation. Ty Lue's a good coach. Ty Lue was going to prepare them for the game. They just choked. Outside of Kawhi Leonard, every single Clipper didn't do enough. I don't want to say that they weren't ready to play, but they didn't seem ready to match the intensity once the game started. The Nuggets were up by a couple of possessions at the end of the first quarter. Adjustments obviously had to be made to match the intensity, and the Clippers basically fell off in the second quarter. And then the response in quarter three was not there. They didn't have any response. There wasn't an answer to the question. It was a legitimate blowout, a lead that ballooned and stretched to 35 points. All right, so we can quickly kind of talk about what this means for the Clippers moving forward. And, obviously we could talk about the Nuggets and then the next matchup for them, which, if I remember correctly, I think this is going to put the Nuggets against the Thunder on that side of the bracket. The Wolves will be playing the winner of Rockets versus Warriors tomorrow night, I think. So we kind of know the direction of things. All right, so the Clippers, right? Kawhi Leonard, for all we know, is healthy. Didn't hear about any injuries. We didn't see any quote-unquote load managing in the playoffs or anything, right? He played his full allotments of minutes. Didn't seem to aggravate anything. At least nothing's being reported. So Kawhi is good for the start of the season next year, as the Clippers are going to look to retool with him as kind of the key cog of the team. The conversation of James Harden, that's where things get a little hairy. What do we make of James Harden, who, for all intents and purposes, I mean, it's him and Kawhi Leonard. They're the two main guys. And Norman Powell's a piece moving forward that you can feel good about. But what are we going to say about James Harden? All right, James Harden, at least, we could speak to the series, right? I don't know, man. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but he had a huge game one. He had 32 points. I think he had 11 dimes, six rebounds. He had a huge game one, and game two he was decent. Game three he was fine. Game four, nah. Game five, nah, not really great in those two games. Game six he was good, right? They didn't win. And then in game seven he was, just playing facilitator. I didn't really see him looking to get his. It was like he didn't have anything for the Nuggets. James Harden did not impact this game in a way that was going to change the outcome. This is a first round matchup. This is not the second round. This is not the Western Conference Finals. The story on James Harden is that he's a choker. I mean, what are we left with after this performance, after this series, after game 7? What's our impression of James Harden? If you thought he was a choker before this game, before the series, you still feel the same way. We didn't learn anything new about James Harden. He didn't step his game up, level up in the series. I didn't see that. What's up, Spurzan? Good to see you. Poor Kawhi. Figured you'd come in to kind of rub it in. Right now, Shaq and the guys over on Inside the NBA are interviewing Joker after the game. Big win for Joker. Spurzan said, seriously need to visit the barber. Yeah, she's talking about James Harden. Yeah, he wasn't good. Let's see here. Who else could we discuss in this series? I don't know. Who else should we really assign blame to? You know what I mean? I thought Kawhi was good. He was good throughout the series, had a couple of big games, was steady. Norman Powell, I think, was pretty good throughout most of the series. Nick Batum had his moments, but he's limited in what he can do. He's an older veteran guy. I don't think he's built for these long extended runs, in terms of minutes and games. Offensively, he's icing on the cake. He's not going to be a primary scorer for you. If he's getting points off of the natural flow of the offense, then you're good with it, right? So, look, I was on a live stream right before the game. So I did my live stream and then I jumped over at Showtime Sports. And Show was talking about what the Clippers needed to do, and guys were on the panel talking about what the Clippers needed to do to win and the Nuggets. And I made it clear, at least from my perspective, these teams are very evenly matched. This went 7 games. There were a couple of games that the Nuggets won that the Clippers should have won. There is some choking in this series for the Clippers. They had a chance to win the series. There were a couple of very close games that the Nuggets pulled out that the Clippers should have won. Could have won. Maybe that's the better phrase. And they didn't get it. What are we to say to that? Like game 1. Game 1 should have been a win for the Clippers. They found a way to lose it with those turnovers at the end of the game. You know what I mean? Micah said, why don't they tell Joker to be ripped to shreds like they want Luka to be? You know why? I think because of the outcomes, right? I think Luka losing and getting bounced out of the first round makes you subject to smoke. You know what I mean? Luka lost in round 1. Plus, I think that Joker's also a center, a big, so him being a little Pillsbury isn't really all that important to his position. And that's a good point, Spurs, and he is a champion and an MVP, right? League MVP. I you know what? And that brings up a point, Micah. I'm not into pouring it on Luka's appearance. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna sit there and say, you got to have a 6-pack abs and boulder shoulders and watermelon quads and stuff. Like that's not a requirement for me. I mean, it's obviously good to be conditioned. It's good to be fit and strong and built for these moments that are deep within the trenches of the games, and I feel like a more physically capable athlete is able to do that, and perform in those moments, so I get it, but like you don't have to look like an Adonis to be a good basketball player, like Jamal Murray doesn't look like an Adonis. He just looks like a regular dude. You'd be standing next to Jamal Murray at the grocery store. You'd be like, oh, this guy's kind of tall, 6'1" or whatever. You wouldn't say anything. You know what I mean? They used to say Carmelo needed to lose a couple of pounds. I guess as long as you win, you could be fat. Outcomes, man. Results. There's some look, Micah, you probably are old enough to remember Zebo. Micah, tell me you remember Zebo. Zach Randolph. That guy was kind of sloppy, slow. He literally had a vertical that you could measure with a piece of paper. You know what I mean? But he was a good rebounder, a good offensive player, and he gave people problems, All right, yeah, you remember Zebo. That's kind of where I'm going. Sometimes the looks, everybody likes aesthetically pleasing, you know what I mean? But it's not a requirement to be a good basketball player. There have been some good basketball players who have looked very average, Spurs and here we go. She's gonna pour it on Kawhi. Here we go. All right. Can we now say Kawhi's way of load management doesn't work? Sometimes Spurs and I don't know if it's just the players looking to load manage. I think it's the teams too. They're trying to stretch out these players, for these playoff runs. And they probably believe in what they're doing is the right decision. But I'm not saying that's the only thing. Kawhi could be basically saying, oh, I'm not, my knee's feeling a little sore today. I'm going to take this next game off kind of deal, But does load management work? I mean, it worked for Popovich. They produced 5 championships in their run, and there was definitely some load management going on throughout the years. I mean, you're not having to load manage in the playoffs, so, you know. But overall, I'm not a fan of load management. I think players should be playing every single night that they can where they're not hurt, not injured. Like, it's one thing to have preventative maintenance, which is like, working with the team officials, like the health and fitness team, the recovery team, ice, massages, therapies, all those kind of things. But if you're not injured, you should be playing. And I think there's something to be said about that mentality of playing through little nicks and knacks. Like I have a lot more respect today for the players of yesteryear because the players of today, it's just a different culture. So I have a newfound appreciation for guys like, you know, Kevin Garnett, who used to be kind of like a pain in the ass, right? Because, he was on the Celtics and that was a direct competitor to my Cavs. But prior to that, Minnesota, I was a huge fan. I looked at all these old timers, man. Kevin Willis, Charles Oakley, just tough-nosed players that just played every night and never missed games and always was available and played through injury. I remember Isaiah Thomas, the real Isaiah Thomas, not the one that played for the Celtics, the one that played for the bad boy Pistons. I remember him playing on a devastatingly sprained ankle and lifting his team to victory, scoring points, Kawhi, you injured. See, this is this is going to be the Kawhi show. Kawhi played well, though. You know what I mean? Kawhi played well. Yes, you rotate players. Absolutely. Shout out to JJ Redick, the Socrates of basketball philosophy. Link for the panel, if you guys are going to be jumping on to the live stream to discuss tonight's game or any of the other games or any topics. I'll make it an open topic night. We could discuss anything you guys want to, all things hoops, any stories, any games. We can look into tomorrow. We can look into the next round matchups. Now that we know that the Nuggets will be playing the Thunder, we could talk about those matchups. I think the Nuggets are going to have hell. I think the Thunder are focused. I think they're ready to take the next step. So the Thunder can be happy with this 7-game series outcome. You win, you go on. All those things are fantastic. But man, you're gonna have hell. Oh yeah, Mike, a huge football fan, absolutely. My Browns ain't shit, but I love the league. Watch all the games every Sunday. I watch the games when they're on Saturdays. I watch the Monday game, the Thursday game, absolutely. Big NFL fan. Yep. Yeah, so when the NFL season comes around, Micah, we'll be doing some streams on that too. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a channel that's going to be very busy. I don't typically do much with baseball. I just don't watch enough of it. You know what I mean? But I think maybe in the playoffs we might do some baseball coverage. Oh, you're a Giants fan? Oh, man. So I know you're pissed. Saquon goes to Philly and starts winning. Wins a championship. Crazy, right? Yeah, salute to the most winning coach of the NBA. Spurzan, if you want to chime in and jump on the stream and talk about Popovich kind of stepping down as the coach of the Spurs and move into the front office as kind of like, what did they give him an official title of president of operations, I think. Yeah, is it still 162 games? 180 plus. If I remember, I think it was 162. But I mean, if it's a playoff run, yeah, it could be up there. Shout out to Saquon. He was gonna get one here. Yeah. Yeah, the Giants had some years where they seemed like they were building some good things. It's you hate to see a guy go, but I think it is. I think it's 162. I think it is. But you ain't lying. I have a hard time watching all the NBA games, and that's half. You know what I mean? So hard to cover all that stuff. Man, I see 7 here in the live. Appreciate you guys for coming by. Please do like and share. Yeah, like, do you see how my icon is? You could just jump into the StreamYard, just hit the link, disable the camera, just have the audio is fine. You could turn you guys when it's a StreamYard link, you could do video and audio, it doesn't matter. But at the very least, we just need the audio, right? Yep. So, yeah, hop on. Tell me about the greatest, winningest coach of all time. I think he has to be put in that conversation with the Phil Jacksons and the Red Auerbachs of the world because he's got 5 chips, and he did it over several decades, and he just did so much for the sport, and a lot of people question, "Oh, he never won back-to-back, and, he never really did a dynasty." They did it over, a 20-year stretch. I think they won their first championship in '99. And then I think they won their last one in 14. So over like a 15-year stretch, they won 5, you know. I I'm not I don't really argue too much about what's a dynasty. People that argue the definition of a dynasty, I think it's a fool's errand. I mean, if you won one every other year for 10 years, you'd have 5 championships. How's that not a dynasty? 5 in 10 years? That means you won 5 and the rest of the NBA won 5. So you won as many championships as the rest of the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So they say, "Oh, you got to win, 4, 3 in a row, 4 in a row. We got to win 5 in a decade." Like people are just they split hairs and they get so technical on some things that I just don't think should be. Playoff baseball is absolutely fun. Yeah, every pitch, everybody hanging on every pitch, and the foul balls, and the pitcher reset, and the camera zooming in, and oh man, I love and actually playoff hockey is fantastic too. Yeah. Like I said, I used to hate going against the Spurs during the Kobe, Shaq, Kobe, whoever, Kobe Gasol years. They were formidable. It's almost the same. Like when Bron saw Kawhi, he got pissed. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate coming from a Lakers fan. But you knew once you got past the Spurs, like you felt good about whoever you were going to play coming out of the East. You know what I mean? Like you knew you were golden. All right, so now they got David Adelman, Rick Adelman's son, the interim coach of the Nuggets. He's talking to his team in the locker room. And he just he looks like these moments are big for him. Hey, interim coach, man, he pulled off a round 1 victory. Good for him. Crazy. Man, I'm kind of surprised. I really am surprised. I did not expect this to be a blowout. I didn't. I thought it was going to be a close game. Like if you my prediction was this was going to come down to a couple of possessions at the end of the game, just like several of the other games from the series. I didn't think this was going to happen. And I'm looking at Ty Lue, he's speaking at this presser. He looks depressed. He looks drained. He looks depleted. He's really disappointed. Ty Lue's a competitive guy. Ty Lue is a good coach. I think he probably felt like he gave his best effort to prepare his guys. They set up the lineups. He, did all of his substitutions. He looked for all of his best matchups. And like James Harden just didn't show up. Was not able to do enough. Defensively, they were not stout enough, and they had been for stretches of previous games. I don't know. This is a really disappointing loss for the Clippers. There was a point in the middle of the series I was like convinced that the Clippers were going to close out the series. I really did. And then a couple of games go on and you're like, okay, well, the Nuggets just made it a series, right? They bounced back from one of the bad losses. Then they even the series, and then they get one, and you're like, oh shit, it's 3-2. And then the Clippers tie it up, and you're like, okay, this is a 50-50 game. There was at no point beyond the first quarter this game was a 50-50 game. You could feel the vibe. You could feel the playoff hopes draining from the Clippers in real time in the third quarter. And there was a time in the second quarter I'm just like, what the hell is happening here? Like this is going to slip away. And then in the third quarter, it officially slipped away on the Clippers. And I really got to put a lot of this on James Harden. I mean, sure, everybody on the Clippers is culpable. You say, okay, Kawhi could have did more. James Harden definitely could have did more. I feel like a lot of that's on him. I don't know how much I want to blame Ty Lue. I thought Ty Lue did a good job all series. I don't think David Adelman outcoached Ty Lue. I don't think that happened. I think Joker, Murray, Brown, Porter Jr., Russell Westbrook outplayed the other guys 4 out of 7 times better. That's what it boiled down to. There were 7 games in the series. These two teams were so close. I was on the Showtime Sports live stream right before the game. I said these two teams are very, very close. They match up really well. And Showtime said, no way. The Clippers are way better than the Nuggets. I was like, well, I can't tell. It's a 3-3 series. And in a 7-game series, you have to have confidence in that the best team wins. It's 7 games. It's not one game. It's not like the NFL tournament style setup in the playoffs. You got 7 games, right? First team to win 4 times in 2 weeks. And this particular series, it took 7 games to figure out who was better. And I lean to the Nuggets because they have the MVP, Nikola Jokic. And I think that Jamal Murray was more likely to have a big game than James Harden based on track record. What's up, Pac-Man? Glad to see you made it here to the stream. It's because you should play your game like your life depends on it. If your opponent doesn't, you win. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's got to be the sense of urgency. But you know what it is, Pac-Man? It's execution. You got to be tight. You can't be loosey-goosey. You can't give up stupid turnovers. You can't take bad shots. You got to move the ball, trust in what you have as a system, believe in your teammates, and you got to play hard every possession and play smart every possession. All right, Spurzan, you're on the show. Tell me. Go ahead. Pour it on Kawhi. Go ahead.
Oh, where would you like me to begin?
I mean, how much of the game did you get to catch? You watch most of it?
Yeah, second second quarter on.
All right, talk to me. What'd you see?
It's what I saw at the end where Jokic got to sit the fourth quarter out. That was great with only 5 fouls.
Right. There was a point where I think he got 2 fouls on 2 consecutive possessions.
Yes, he did. It wasn't the third, mid-third, midway through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You could see from the beginning, the pressure was on the Clippers. I mean, I never seen Kawhi have jitters like that.
But overall, he was basically the only player on the Clippers that you could say played well enough.
Right. He didn't not score anything like LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron was pretty bad in some of those fourth quarters, wasn't
he? Yeah. Oh, just fading out. But yeah, I was really hoping because I don't want him to go all the way.
Yeah, well, they're taking a trip to Cancun. Lakers and Clippers are all going to be leaving LAX together on a trip to
Cancun. They're going to go hang out where Kawhi likes to go. Where was that they had? Panama or something? He was in some mountains or something. They showed him. I can't remember. Costa Rica? I think they like to go there.
Yeah, well, they've got plenty of time to do it. They get extra time now.
I was telling my family that they really need to sit Kawhi down and make sure he shows up next season.
Well, it seems like he doesn't have any type of injury right now. I mean, that could change on a single report in the middle of July.
Okay, let's get serious. He is an older man. He's not young anymore, and he can't move. I don't think he can move very well laterally. Before he could really, go around tight corners. He doesn't do that. But of course, it's his experience of being in the playoffs and whatnot. That's what's got him through. But
Mhm.
I cannot see him going to a finals. I just can't.
Well, when I look at the Clippers, I don't think that's a team that has enough to get to the finals. James Harden's what year was it with the Rockets where they went to the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors? Like
Wow.
28.
Oh, that was with James Harden and Paul?
Yeah, that was it like 2018 maybe? I mean, that's at least 7 years ago.
Man,
So James Harden
yeah,
is
long enough
far
to not really
removed.
remember.
Yeah, he's far removed from the years where people were talking about him as the most powerful offensive force in the NBA. So that was I mean, he's been on what? 3 teams since then. Like, he's gone to the
Oh,
Nets, he's gone to the Sixers, he was moved on from those teams, he ends up at the Clippers. And even at the Clippers, they've had turnover. They had Paul George at one point, with that experiment, they had Russell Westbrook. Like, they're trying to make things work in LA, and they're trying different things, and it's not that they're not trying. It
I
just
think
shows to show you how
Kawhi is.
expensive a trip to the finals is, you know what I'm saying, Ann?
Yeah, but when you think about the business part of it, I guess I don't know if I was the owner. I mean, I've got all this money at my discretion, and I need a big name to go with my product, and that's what he is. And if he can produce, great. But if not, I mean, really, isn't it just chump change?
Okay, so who do you gotta get here? Who do you pair up or
Oh,
supplement the team with?
you can't pair up. You need a couple of people that are going to be in tandem with him, if anything. But he cannot be primary. I mean, he'll be a starter, but it's got to be evened out. You can't do one or the other. Like, isn't Harden like Mr. Bounce the ball all the time? Kind of like Luca.
Yeah, he's a, ball dominant guard, point
Yeah,
guard.
and you're not moving the ball. You're not moving the ball, and you're not going to move the defense. And
But there's gonna be some crazies talking about this in the offseason that Kevin Durant should go to the Clippers. You're
let
gonna
him.
hear it. Any big name free agent, the media is gonna try to run with these narratives. You're gonna have these talking heads on all
You
the
got
ESPN
that right, Micah.
world. They're gonna be talking about how the, big name, players should end up with the Clippers and they should make a run for it, in Kawhi's last of his heyday kinda deal.
Right, right. Farewell, like that'll last the rest of his contract. What is he at? Like at 3 more years or something?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me check and actually, we should look at the Clippers contracts, actually,
Yeah,
because we
burn
could
him up.
see how the structures are. I mean, right now, they're obviously looking to keep, um, Norman Powell. I think he's probably their best supplemental piece, and then they've got a couple of I think Zubac is a keeper. I mean, how many traditional centers in the NBA are left? There's just a couple
Wow.
left. So, Kawhi he's got a $50 million contract annual through 26, 27.
Hmm.
James
See,
Harden has a player option next year at 36.3 million.
who wants that?
Definitely wouldn't
You
want
could get
I
two
think
new young guys that'll
I think it's a
do more production.
player option. I don't think it's a team option, so he can opt in.
Ah,
Otherwise, they're
he-
negotiating a new deal.
oh, you mean like he did with the Sixers?
That didn't work out.
No, it didn't.
I
They're
mean,
not learning.
I think this is the Sixers contract, isn't it? That's the last year of the Sixers
Yeah,
contract.
that's true. They absorbed it.
He's
Yes.
35. 35
I
years old.
know they don't get it. They want to pay him like 16 mil, and they're in their mid 30s. I'm like, hello, they're on the way out.
Norman Powell's in at 20 million next year. He's going to want a new contract after next year. Bogan has
Oh, I don't
16
like
million
it.
coming his way. Zubac is locked up through 28 at 21 million.
Well, yeah, he does a job that not many do. I would keep him too.
Yep. The rest of that's it. Those are your contracts. So you basically have a 2-year window. And that's
But
if
he's got to play, even if it's like 10 minutes a game or something. Kawhi does not play, and it's going to show later on. I hope he gets it this time. I
how
mean,
many
I'm
games
not, I
did he
don't
play
like the
40
dude,
did
but
he play
come on,
40
as a
games this
player.
year? And
Go ahead. What?
did Kawhi play 40 games this year?
They said, I think I heard he missed 35 games during the game. They said that 35 or 32.
Let's see, actually, because I don't. I don't follow the Clippers as closely as I should. I was just never a Clippers guy, and I never trusted Kawhi's health, so I always kind of the
Yeah, I
noise. You know
know.
what I mean?
Yep.
He played 37 games this year. So with the playoffs, 44.
Okay. So he didn't play for 35 games, is what we're hearing.
He missed 40 something.
Oh, that's worse.
He missed 40 something, like 49 games.
I misheard then. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He
That's
was
worse.
available for 37 of the 82. And he was a playoff riser. He was much more productive in the playoffs than he was in the regular season. So on average, like he averaged 6 rebounds during the regular season, he averaged 8 in the playoffs. 3 assists during the regular season, 5 in the playoffs. So he's a playoff riser. Like we know you just want to get him healthy to the playoffs.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It does not work. Saving him for the playoffs. I mean, because if it did work, he would have won another one by now. How long has it been that he
2019.
before COVID?
I know exactly. That was the Raptors' magical run when Greg Popovich shipped him to Canada.
I knew he was going to ship him far, but he still put him in a good position because Pop does that, or he used to do
He
that.
sent him to a team that really was the only thing they needed was him.
I think he would have extended. We would have gotten, like, if he would have stayed, maybe I would put my money on another ring. But as you can see, we knew he had this issue, and as a matter of fact, Kawhi, he got injured on his own time in the summer. It wasn't even with the Spurs or with the Warriors.
Well, I remember the injury in the Golden State series, that whole ankle incident when that cheap foul from Zaza Julia.
Zaza was
I'm
always
pretty
like that.
sure. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the Spurs were going to win that series. I think they were up 2-0, weren't they?
Yeah, it was either 2 or 3. I don't know. I don't remember.
And that changed the whole complexion of the series. You can't lose your best player and beat the Warriors, you know.
Right. That was just, and then we know the Warriors to be what Steve Kerr learned in San Antonio, because that's how they got to be, passing so well. And it would help Curry, because isn't that Steve Kerr's position that Steph Curry had?
Yeah, I mean, but Steve Kerr was a different kind of player. Steve Kerr was kind of the 3-point marksman.
Yeah, he was a shoot. Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, he's not what Curry is. Curry.
No, he's not.
Curry comes off the screens. Curry is a traditional point guard, creating and dishing and the handles. And I mean, Curry is a.
Oh, but he moves though. He does move that ball.
He does.
He doesn't stay stagnant.
I never thought about Steve Kerr moving off the ball. I think he just kind of sat in his position waiting for the ball. He got to knock out some shots, but he only got like 3 or 4 shots a game. Curry's definitely a volume shooter. But yeah, I think Kerr's readiness coming from the Spurs organization, I think just the professionalism, I think just the process, the philosophy carried.
Well, Kerr and Pop had a very good. They have a very good relationship. Like Pop's wife didn't want to speak to him when they traded him out, and he was playing with the Spurs, and so they're tight, So I expected that, and I think people forget too. Pop was an assistant coach for the Warriors before anything.
What, in like the Don Nelson years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of history in the league.
Yeah, there is. I would like to hear other people with, their teams. I mean, that's why I hear you out, because I know the history of my team, but you don't get, if you're not local, you're not gonna know.
It's true. Like, people always talk about LeBron. So I'm a Cleveland guy, and you've been following my channel long enough to know my affinity for my team, my home team. And people always talk about LeBron, and they talk about the first Cavs stint. So from when he was drafted in 2003 until 2010 or whatever, when he went to Miami, everybody always gives their take, and they're not from Cleveland. They have no idea what LeBron was doing here at that time. LeBron has always been shielded and protected by the media. I'm not even just talking about national media. Local media protected him here too. Like, he
Hmm.
could go wrong. He could say whatever he wanted, do whatever he wanted.
It's
Things got
before social media too, so before that hit.
Yeah, sure, before things really took off, but, like, they always have these opinions on how they think things happened, and they're way off.
Hmm.
Like, they
Oh,
have
are you
no
kidding?
clue, like
Every time I hear a story about who wants to go, Giannis wants to go to San Antonio right now. KD to San Antonio. Shut up. Put that PR away. We're not gonna. We don't bite at something like that.
they're feeding into the media machines, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And they don't have inside info, they're not inside track, they don't have the knowledge, the intimate knowledge with anybody near these people. Like that, it's all just fabricated, and it's just not it's not accurate. So you got folks that were talking about how like LeBron was sedated, had to be sedated before the Celtics series and all this other stuff. It's
Why?
all just
What?
made.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What about that? Explain that
I
one
don't
to
I
me.
don't know what it means. Like when I think of
Oh, okay.
being
I was like,
sedated,
what?
I think about like when it's like treatment at a hospital, like somebody being sedated. So like I think medical emergency. Like what was he sedated for? I don't understand. Like I saw those games.
Wow.
I saw the losses. I saw the games where LeBron played poorly. I saw the games where he played great. It was a mix. I saw all of it. And then I remember all of the media coverage on all the games. And I remember all of the players and all the stories and people, making up these narratives that he doesn't have enough help and all this. Like there were players here that were really, really good. But like people run with these narratives and act like they're not. Like, here's another one I don't like. And I don't like the media narratives about Joker not having any help. That's such a lie.
Mm-mm.
He has a really, really nice supporting cast. Aaron Gordon is a complete basketball player.
Oh my
Jamal
God.
Murray
I
is a
I
playoff
took
prize.
notice of him down in Orlando. And when I heard he came to, because he moved east, but he didn't. It was the first time he came to the West, and I got to see him more. But I can't see the Nuggets games anymore, so I can't see how they're progressing.
Right.
And you have to hear this narrative. I totally understand, but that's not the deal.
No, I mean, I'm watching the games and I'm like, why don't these narratives that people are feeding into the machine, why doesn't it match what I'm seeing on the floor? I'm seeing Michael Porter Jr. have some big games. I'm seeing Jamal Murray having some big games. I'm seeing Russ coming through at key moments. Like Joker's fine with his teammates. I don't hear him saying my teammates suck. I don't hear him
I
saying
know he's such a reminder of Timmy.
yeah. Like he just wants to win and people are like they conjure up these narratives that he just wants to get these meaningless triple doubles. He
Okay,
wants
let
to
me
win.
give you a narrative that follows through with that.
Go
This
ahead.
idea of the FNBA, the idea that we're having how can I say, European players or foreign players come here,
Uh-huh.
and they're actually doing very well here. Except Luca, he's got a little drama, but more than likely, your players from another country like to stay with the team they're with. They like to stay to work on that, and people don't really take notice because they're not from here. But if you really pay attention, they don't look how Luca behaved when they traded him. He still looks like he misses Dallas. And I don't like the idea that they're saying that they can't be a face of the league. I'm all like, well, if they can play great, I mean, and they're winning things, I mean, why not? Whoever, America
I don't
or
I'm not
abroad.
I'm not gonna run with that narrative either. I mean, Giannis is a fantastic player. It doesn't matter to me that he's from Greece. If Luca is capable of winning chips, what does it matter that he's from Europe? I mean, we've had European players have success in the NBA. In my opinion, they seem to be having the most success. I got Joker winning MVPs and championship. I got Giannis winning MVPs and championship. Luca was in the finals last year. They seem to be doing pretty damn good.
Oh my God. San Antonio started the international players. We love the idea that everybody came from somewhere else. Even Timmy was off an island. So yeah, I mean, and then people forget about. I hope I'm saying his first name right. Antori Messina,
Mm-hmm.
the Italian coach.
Mm-hmm.
We were lucky to have him,
Where
and
is he
of
now?
course, he's back. He's in Italy. He's doing the
Oh, okay.
would you say the country's team or whatever, the national team.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, this idea of international players, hell yeah, we love the idea. Oh my God, you don't even know how much we love Manu back home.
Yeah. Manu at Argentina.
Oh my God, just speak Spanish and all the women have a fit. But
Yeah, the league's
yeah,
in a unique place, isn't it? It's in a unique place right now.
who?
The league.
Yeah, definitely. It's
I
they
think
could make
part of
so
the
much more
problem
of
is
it though.
Spurs, and I think part of the problem is the commissioner. I don't really
Yeah.
like or approve of his process. I never really liked David Stern, but
Mhm.
there was order, there was structure, there was
Oh yeah, he did crack
clear
the whip.
like adult in the room. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
he cracked the whip on us.
Yeah, Adam Silver. Like, I get the vibes that he like wants to be friendly with everyone. Like,
Oh, I think he just sees dollar signs. Like, the first time I heard that man talk, he was talking about sports betting, and once he was talking about Vegas people getting money and the league isn't, and he was looking into hopefully getting that going or to whatever effect he said. But bottom line, when he said that, you just sold the league.
yeah, the betting's
Totally sold it.
huge. And Spurs, and it's not just betting before the games. They're betting during the games. They're betting on quarters, they're betting on possessions, they're betting on halftime results,
Oh
betting on
yes, I
quarters. Like, there's live betting throughout every moment of a game. And you think about the regular season, how many games you have. Well, there's 82 games to a team. And you got 30 teams in the league.
Lots
You
of
got the
things
playoffs
again.
where everything gets magnified and kicked up. I mean, it's huge money. But the problem is you could talk about the money all you want, but if the product is fading, how long are these
There you go.
novelty things gonna last? Like, you still need the core fans to keep watching. Like, are you really making that much money off of a casual who's watching highlights on Bleacher Report on Twitter? Is that really engagement?
Well, this is what I've been pushing lately. Is that how everybody wants LeBron to leave LA, and
Where do
that
they
boy
want him to
is
go?
not leaving LA because unless you stop buying his jerseys.
Where do they want him to go?
That's what I'm saying, and he doesn't want to go. So
His entire business structure is based at LA.
yeah.
I mean, he's got his little podcast thing with everybody. He does that in LA. He's got his studios thing that he's doing. His whole production team is based at LA. His kids are now in school in LA. Like, it's what is it? Sierra Canyon or something? I don't even.
Well,
I'm
he's
trying to.
got money making money. That's what it is. His money's already working on its own.
But if I'm a Lakers fan, I'm pretty pissed.
Well, yeah. Oh, I don't. If I was a
There's
Laker
18,
fan, I'd be
19
so
plays.
heated.
I got a chip in 20. Some argue that it's by dumb luck and good fortune. And we were getting, the Lakers have been bounced out of the first round. They've been swept. They've missed the playoffs. They've been in the play-in.
It's playing something else, right? It's dragging it out.
Yeah, but it's getting ugly.
That's when they
not.
just barely start playing. Because I was just mentioning to friends that you have all these guys getting hurt right now on the playoffs is because they don't play like this in the regular season. They think they're just going to go up there, do a layup. Yeah, I'm going to fall on my back. I'm going to fall on my pelvis. Was that Jimmy, right? Jimmy Butler fell on his stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, they would not be getting hurt like that if they regularly put the work in it. And the only reason I enjoy my Spurs, rain or shine, is because they work. They put out, they hustle for that. San Antonio. San Antonio's a blue collar city. And if you lose, but show me you worked at it, and I don't see that with other teams. But I'm
Culture,
biased. Let's put that
culture.
caveat.
What you're talking about is culture.
Hmm.
Um, Micah chimed in. Let's see what you think about this,
Yeah, what's
Spurzan.
that?
He said LeBron can go anywhere he wants. He can go to the Clippers if he wants to stay in LA. So he's a Lakers fan. And
Oh,
Micah said, I'll take Powell, Jones, Zubac, and 3 second rounders. And you can have the bronze with Reeves. So he
that's a
basically,
lot of little
yeah,
pieces.
he wants the quality guys from the Clippers.
And you can take
Uh,
JJ.
yeah,
Hmm.
he did leave Kawhi off that list, so he doesn't need Kawhi.
Yeah, it's always the hope of Kawhi.
Oh hell no, Micah. See, now you're just trying to make the Clippers lose, man. JJ, come on, man. What's your take on the JJ Redick situation, Spurs? And tell me
Where do
what
I
you see
begin?
when you see this
I
guy deal with
never,
the
ever liked this player. Let's start there without the J and the J. I've never liked this player. And he was not anywhere near the, how can I say, all the PR that LA's doing for him, that he's the greatest on earth. And he wasn't even a good player. And he did, to me, you can check me because please tell me the truth. That guy that barely made half of his shots.
Well,
And
he
you're gonna
really
have,
only took threes, and he couldn't
yeah,
create his own shot. He was mostly, catching
spot up, yeah.
off the action. So, and I don't really. I mean, I remember him taking a lot of threes and making a lot of threes, but I don't remember him hitting important ones. And I
Wasn't he
don't really
stuck in
remember him.
Atlanta or something?
What's that?
Where was, I forget where he was at.
He played in Orlando, I think, to start his career.
Okay.
And then I also remember him playing for the Clippers for a minute and playing for the Sixers for a minute. And I remember his 3-point percentage
Clippers. Yeah. Clippers.
was good for his career, but I don't remember moments where he was winning.
He didn't play with the Lob City, right?
He did.
Oh wow, really? He was in the
Yeah.
mix?
So think about all that attention that Blake Griffin is getting and DeAndre Jordan and Chris Paul. So you got to be open sometimes, right?
Yeah. No kidding. If
And
they share the ball.
I never in my life heard anybody say, man, this guy is a smart basketball player. He's going to make a great NBA coach.
Well, how
Like,
smart is LeBron?
I mean,
I'm just teasing.
I
They think he's
think
smart. He's a
AJ
coach.
ended his career with the Pelicans and the
Oh my
Mavericks.
goodness, right?
I don't know. His last season was, I think, 2020, 2021. He averaged like 7 points a game, 1 assist, 1 rebound kind of deal.
Wow.
Yeah, I just don't remember him being a great player. I remember
No, I
him.
don't either. He's not
I
worth
remember him
the
shooting a high 3-point percentage, like 40% or better
yeah,
most of
no
his
defense.
career.
Mike is right. He didn't do any type of defense. That wasn't
I
his
don't remember any
job.
defense. Yeah, I don't remember him locking up anybody. And I remember because the Cavs were always playing the Magic in some really meaningful games. I remember Michael Petrius having to come in and play defense. I remember
Name
Hedo
from the past.
Turkoglu more. I
Yeah.
remember Rashard Lewis more. What was
I
the
like him.
point guard's name? I forget his name. The point guard of the Magic with Dwight Howard and those guys. But like that, he was on that team, and he barely got into games. I don't really remember him being in there all that much. Oh, he played for the Bucks in 2013. I didn't even know that.
Wow.
Okay, so check out these. He played for the Magic from 06 to 2013. He played one season where he played 82 games. So he was a part-time player his first 2 years. He averaged 36 games a season. In 2011, he played 59 games. In 2012, he played 65 games. He was a part-time player until he got to the Clippers. once he got to the Clippers, he was kind of in a full-time role, and he actually averaged like 15 points a game. So his peak lasted for about 5 years, where he was able to average about 15 or 16 a game.
Micah says Jameer. I think Berea was.
Sure,
Oh, you talking about Dallas?
Nelson. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Jameer Nelson. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, Jameer.
Yep, Jameer. He was a pretty good player. I forget what college he went to, but he was a pretty good player. Anyways, those were the years we all got to know JJ Redick, and I mean,
not much.
Not likable, you know.
Mm-mm. He's even worse. I didn't like him at first. Now he's just like, oh, I want to avoid.
He's cringe. He's a deflector. He's insulting. He's disrespectful.
Like a
I feel like he's a microcosm of LeBron and the Lakers' whole process. You know, like they got what's his name, Bronny in there. You know, I feel like him and Bronny are one and the same. People that were just put in there just because they're good with LeBron. You know.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I don't know. That LA something else. I've been to California. I've never wanted to visit LA, that's for sure.
I was in LA for a short stay. Well, I was actually in San Diego, so we flew into LA. But I didn't really spend any time in LA.
It's a vibe.
It's
nice. The vibe. It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Yeah. It's a vibe thing, and I like it better down either south or north where they're more chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me, LA's very busy.
Sure, it's a huge city. I think LA County has like 20 million people.
I wonder how many millions. Is it like New York? I never even thought about that.
The county is bigger than New York. Like New York City probably has more people than LA proper. Mm-hmm. But I think LA County is just massive. And I mean, obviously there's going to be some unreported folks who are there, without representation or documentation. But I mean, there's a lot of people in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Arlington, Texas is my kind of vibe. But one day, maybe I'll move there.
Arlington, isn't that up north?
I thought Arlington was part of
near Dallas. Yeah, isn't that where the Texas Rangers play? I think. Yeah,
Arlington. Yeah. What do you mean, Micah? You were a fan of Rashard Lewis? That dude tested positive for steroids. Come on, man. That dude cheated the game. Come on, man. And I'm not even talking about growth hormone. Dude was like on anabolics. Like, what are you trying to win? A bodybuilding competition? What are we doing here? Come on, man.
That's true.
All right, so we got what do we have for the rest of this thing here? I'm gonna just go ahead and look at the rest of these games. Spurs, and you tell me who you got in these series. All right, you got Warriors and Rockets tomorrow. Who you got?
What I want and what's gonna happen?
Who do you want? Yeah.
Of course. Let's go Rockets.
Go Rockets.
Mm-hmm. Let's go Ime. I'm gonna stay with my coaching tree.
All right, and then who you got in this Pacers Cavaliers series, which is going to start tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Oh, I do not like the Pacers. Mm-mm. Cavs.
You like my Cavs?
5. No, I'm just playing.
I was thinking maybe a sweep, but I want to respect Halliburton and those guys, so I want to give them a game.
He was all right till they had the All-Star in Indiana, and he showed his colors.
Well, his dad had a huge thing with Giannis the other day.
Yeah, that was crazy. I bet, still, okay. Giannis did not need to go up to daddy. What if he would have had a heart attack?
Yeah, that kind of looked kind of wild, didn't it?
And what was this talking to? Who was he talking to in his ear? And then he started to pull away from him. And Giannis kept pulling him back from the back of his neck. And I was like, who is he, a gangster? Like he was giving him the kiss of death or something.
Yeah, that was such a strange interaction. You got that old man and, Giannis.
He's got a pattern. Remember the basketball he wanted or something?
Oh, there was in a previous event then. Something else happened before.
You remember he wanted that basketball because he got some kind of record and the other guy took it or something because he was.
Oh, I do remember that with Giannis. I do remember that. Yeah. I was at this year or last year.
I'm all
It was
like,
pretty
ooh,
recent.
that guy, he's hot. He's hot under the collar.
Yeah. All right. What about this Knicks and Celtics series? Who you got there, Spurs and?
Oh, I would like the Knicks, but I haven't seen them play each other. So that's it. If you go by what everybody says and does, that'll be the Celtics. I don't like the Celtics.
I don't like the Celtics either, but I know that they're the Cavs' pathway to a
I
championship.
love Derek White.
Derek White's a fantastic player, isn't he?
Who?
Derek White.
We love Derek White. We did love Derek White, but he wasn't in our timeline. And you got to let him go. And
How many years has he
always
been
put
in
some
the
guys
NBA?
in good spots.
Let's take a look at Derek White's trajectory. I only know him as a Celtic. I didn't follow his career early enough, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, he was drafted by the Spurs in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
He played 17 games his rookie season. Played 60. Oh, wait, I do remember him for the Spurs. He had an afro.
What was left?
And back then he had one. He had hair.
He had hair.
Okay, I do remember him.
I have some calendar where he has hair in the Spurs. Yeah, but ignore the hair.
He was
really
coming.
good.
He was actually
The
coming
boy can
along.
move that ball. Hey, get this. I don't like what was his name? Murray, DeJounte Murray. Okay.
DeJounte Murray.
He was talking smack. He said that he went to Atlanta, and you know how they're full of themselves. They're on a new team and whatnot. And in an interview, he told somebody that he wasn't a yes man like Derek.
Really?
Yeah.
So being a team player makes you a yes man now?
Yeah. And so I was like, that's our yes man right there. Who's got a championship?
Yeah.
But DeJounte plays like that. It's really, if you can't tell, it's all about him. He didn't even join the team for anything. Nothing. Not even, he would not hang out.
Well, that's, he's not going to have a good relationship with his fellow teammates, with his coaches.
Exactly. That's what happened.
You got to build the character with each other.
Oh, but did we get a treasure trove of things for him? That was awesome.
What did you guys get through that trade?
I think we got like a swap, maybe 2 first rounders.
Who did they become?
Jeez.
Like
I can't remember, but I will tell you how we got Keldon Johnson. We got him when we traded Kawhi. We got that pick. We still got the boy. So we love that kiddo. But
well, it's all about Wemby and Fox, right?
Right now, well, I can't gauge because Castle just won Rookie of the Year.
He's a nice player.
Oh my gosh, he's old school, and he will attack the rim, and he's not afraid. And then he's got this nice hezzy, this hezzy movies that he uses. And so I'm. All I know is I think they said that De'Aaron, when we got him, he didn't want it to where we traded Castle for him. He wanted to play with Castle. And that's why I was surprised we stayed with Castle. But thank goodness we did.
No, I think he's an important piece to the future. He came along so nicely this season. I remember covering the team early on when I started making content on my channel for Hoops, and I didn't know any of the Spurs. And then, you start watching Wemby, so you're watching the other players. And I'm just like, man, there's some nice things happening over here. So it's kind of exciting. I have big.
I can't wait to shoot my horn
next year. Right. Hopefully everything's good with Wemby and he's perfectly healthy and no future concern.
That's another thing you had mentioned before when you said about traveling. Like I think Wemby is still like being cautious because he hasn't gone back to France.
Oh, so he's hanging around, staying local. Maybe it's to see doctors and stuff.
Well, it's not unheard of. The guys hang out at the Rock. That's the name of the facility. And they all hang out there, and it's not uncommon if you like work there to see any of the guys there, even Hall of Famers. And that's the thing about them; they all live in San Antonio. All these Hall of Famers, they haven't let even Tony Parker has a house.
And he's from France.
Mm-hmm.
So he's hanging around, huh?
Manu, he still lives there. Of course, Timmy's still there. Oh, David Robinson's still there. He has a piece of
Oh man,
paper.
D-Rob, man, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. We love our guys.
Yeah.
And one of my faves, Sean Elliott.
Oh yeah, classic. I remember Sean. It
Mm-hmm.
was nice to see Sean get that championship. Him and Avery Johnson at the end there.
Yeah, that was so sweet.
Yeah. 99, I believe.
99, yes, sir. And then Robinson got his second one in 01.
Oh yeah, he did get a second one in 01.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he wasn't doing that much, but you know, he was there for it.
Well, we got to work at it this time, because when we got Timmy, we always had a winning season. It's just that when we got Timmy, he got his championship, about 2 years later? 99, because we got him in 97 on the draft.
So he was in his second year when he won his first ring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Spurzan, I don't know where you put Tim Duncan in your all-time greatest list, but I have Tim Duncan ahead of LeBron. And I know
several steps.
I know that not a lot of people agree with me. People get really angry when I rank Tim Duncan as a greater player than LeBron, because as a career, see to me, there's this element of watching basketball, right? And then I look at the outcomes. You know, what did you do for your team? Did you transcend your team? Championships, greatness, the moments, all those things. Like Tim Duncan has one of the best careers ever. It's just loaded with
longevity.
winning.
That's what I like: consistency and longevity. And I know when I'm looking at great ball, I know I'm looking. We're spoiled as Spurs fans. We know what we're looking at, and it's like, I'm sure Wemby wants to do 6, and that's a really big get. Like LeBron 1, 2, 3, 4. But I know if Wemby would get what he wants, he would want to surpass our other players, which is Tim. And I can only, hope we would. We're got to look at health. So we have so many pieces to go. Even if, let's say, no Wemby, which is I don't ever want that. But I think we'd be a very good team. I mean, you got to pick up a player. You got to pick up a player. But
I think the aspirations for the Spurs with what they have in the future, I think they're looking at multiple championships. Like, you've got Wemby's what, 20, 21? How old is he?
Who, Wemby?
Yeah.
He just turned 21.
You got an entire decade in his 20s.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't seem
and
like
he's running like a second or third year guy this past year.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to be like, you got to worry about his weight or anything. Like, he's not a heavy dude. Like, it's not a Zion situation. So, I think his career, knock on wood, should be a lengthy one with a lot of opportunities for greatness. I think he'll be like one of those guys that ends up being one of the top blocks leaders in league history, one of the top rebounders in league history.
Was it he would have got I think he would have got defensive player of the year.
Sure, I think he would have got it too. I mean, I'm happy that Mobley was able to get it, but I'm not sure if Mobley gets it if Wemby stays healthy.
I like Mobley.
Yeah, me too. I like him. I think he's a nice young player.
He reminds me of the Fraggles. Remember Wembley?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the aspirations, Spurzan, I think the aspirations for the Spurs is to win multiple chips with Wemby. I think 2, 3, that kind of deal.
I doubt it.
You just got to make sure you get the right pieces around him. I think defensively, that's really easy for Wemby. I think offensively is, can he level up? And I think what I didn't like during this season was him settling for all the threes. I want to see that.
Oh, you're not the only one.
Improve. I feel like he's settling for
cursing the TV. Totally cursing the TV. Those threes, but he practices that midcourt shot as well.
I don't have don't have a problem with him taking in game, like in the flow of the game threes. But they're like
Mm-hmm.
25, 26, 27 feet away from the rim,
Mm-hmm.
and like the defender's there. So he's just shooting over the defender just because he can.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and if
Yes,
you're walking into it and nobody's
it's true.
picking you up, take it, but like,
I
I
want
don't
him
know.
to be. I want him to be in the paint. Okay, but see, that's Tim, and
I want
he's
him on
not as
different
thick
levels, man.
As Tim. So he's. I think if he rattles around in the paint, he may get hurt, and maybe he needs to step into it because he really didn't want to be in the paint. He kind of gradually went into the paint. So you can't force these kids to do anything. They got to come up with it themselves.
And do you know who Thanos is from like the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I've heard the name, and
Okay,
isn't he
so
blue?
yeah, he's like purple, but like
Okay,
he had a
bluish.
philosophy. He
Just
believed
blue.
that the universe requires balance.
Of course, yes.
And I feel like that's how basketball should be played. It should be played with balance. So when Wemby's taking 9, 10 threes in a game, then that means he's not taking enough shots where he's most dangerous,
There you go.
which is around the rim, which is at the second and the first level.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see his
See?
game become like a more selective game where he's only taking the
Exactly. Be
highest
more
quality
efficient.
shots. Right.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And
I,
maybe if Pop was there, maybe if Pops was,
oh, he ain't going
healthier.
nowhere. He's gonna
But you
be
get what I'm
there.
saying? Like, if he was on the bench,
I
on
know. You're
maybe he
crazy.
would have kind of been communicating that with Wemby a little bit more. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. He did a nice little farewell. That was cute. That kid. I tell you, he says the right thing when he needs to, or
Yeah.
that he just does. It's not. He's a really good kid. I mean, he's a kid that wants to be in bed. What by 10? You know.
That's a nice kid, man.
So
I don't know if you know
yeah.
this, Roseanne, but I'm a high school science teacher.
Ah,
Yeah,
really? What
so,
do you think? What? That's like
I
everything,
I
right? A
teach,
little of
like,
everything.
biology and environmental science.
I took a
Yeah,
course in environmental science once.
yeah. So, like, when I see these NBA players come into the league when they get drafted,
Hmm.
to me, it's like looking at some of my students. They're like that age, they're like 18, 19 years old.
Oh, I wish
They're
they were
little
in
kids.
college. That way they're not crying on the floor like versus a kid that's been in college. They know what's like just a bump and what's an injury.
Yeah.
Jesus. DeJounte Murray, he just twisted his ankle. Oh my God, was he screaming bloody murder?
You know what I'm getting the sense of, Spurs, and you hold on to some grudges for some of these older players.
Oh, I never liked him. And even when he played with us. I
So
always would get
Murray
upset he wouldn't pass the ball to Vassell.
so Murray and Kawhi are still in your doghouse.
Kawhi will always be in the doghouse, but I'll feed him sometimes.
Good stuff. I was happy to get a chance to speak to you today, Spurs, and I'm glad you called in and
Well,
checked
you're
in.
lucky because this thing was hard to figure out.
Well,
I'm a
I'm glad
veteran
we got through to
when
you
it comes
finally.
to
That's
this.
awesome. And we had Micah earlier, so that was cool too. But I do really want to see the platform take off as a really interactive community. So I'm
Oh,
looking
of
forward
course.
to doing more of these and having you guys on the
I
live
pushed
stream.
your show when I was on Sports T. I don't know if you know that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dom's got a awesome show. She's hilarious. She's great.
Yeah, I know.
Always.
She sounds like too settled. So some people get riled up on her, and she's like, she can handle it. I see her having Wonder Woman bracelets.
The thing about Dom is she's got a she's got a position that she holds strong. Like she's very much dug in.
Shout out to
Um,
Dom.
yeah, shout out to Dom from Sports T. She's very dug in on not letting all the narratives just go by without getting called out.
Mhm.
So I get her position.
She
I
stands her
totally
ground.
absolutely. And she's not wrong. She just wants to call everything out like it is. She doesn't want to just let, the stupid stories go and then everybody starts believing it. So her audience, I think, appreciates her authenticity in that she's calling out the BS.
Hmm. I caught her when she was doing Man Down. That's where I first saw her on. because I think I caught something on with Mel
Yeah.
from Men Down,
Mhm.
and I saw him, and I had seen a whole panel, and I was like, wow, this sounds like when I used to listen to radio, talk radio.
Mhm.
And so I've always liked talk radio because living in Texas, you gotta, you gotta
Sports
do
radio all
commute.
day.
You gotta commute.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I'm all cool with that. And then what I liked with her on that show was guys would, even the guys on the panel, of course everybody takes their stance, but she wouldn't let go. She would hold her own. I was like, cool. And I didn't
She
even know
always
she had split to her own show.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think what she was able to do is, she was able to build an audience
mm-hmm.
through Mel's platform, and I like Mel too. I like
Her
Mel's
ears are
platform
ringing.
too.
I bet you her ears are ringing or they're hot.
Yeah.
They're talking about it.
The thing about Mel though
Mm-hmm.
is he's wrong about Joker. He's
Mm-hmm.
really wrong about Joker.
Yeah, I don't agree with. Yeah, that's why I mentioned earlier, and just because you disagree doesn't mean you can't talk about it. But
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
truly do. I see them all as players, not American players, not Slovenian players,
Mhm.
Italian players. No, I don't see it that way. And the ones that seem to follow old school ways are these international players. And what I like is that when you talk to them, a lot of them are Spurs fans because that's like I had mentioned earlier about international players. We had brought them about. So, but yeah, I've always seen it as players. And that's why I wish they would stay in college so that they can really hone in some things.
They wanna
And
hurry up and get that money, Spurzan.
but yeah, but we're the ones that suffer.
I know.
I don't
I
watch
know.
college ball for a reason.
Well, we don't get to know anybody in college. They're there for 1
It's
year
too
and they're
quick.
gone, right?
It's too quick. Exactly. Unless you're like, you cheer for Duke or something.
If I remember correctly, was Tim Duncan at Wake Forest?
And played with Castle's daddy.
Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, alright.
You're on it. You're getting there. So
Thanks, Bruce, and I appreciate you calling in and tapping in.
no,
We're gonna
no
go ahead and wrap
problem. I'm glad
this up.
I learned this thing here. But all
Thank
right,
you.
hon. You take care and let's see how this goes.
Yeah, amazing. Thanks for being here.
You
Appreciate
too.
it. Everybody, do me a solid. Please do like and share this video and give Spurzan the thumbs up in the live chat. Let her know that you appreciated her time on the panel.
Yeah, have a good
Thank you.
night.
We're out of here, guys. Thank you. Like and share, and we'll see you guys soon on the next stream.